Hello everyone, welcome to the Modern Networking Practical series. In today's session, we'll study about the configuring and verifying the path control using PBR, that is policy based routing. So we'll be using this particular topology. There will be 3 routers and 3 PCs, PC1, PC2, PC3, and the routers R1, R2, R3. And these are the interfaces of the router. We'll be using the software GNS3. So we have F00, FA, that is fast Ethernet 00, 10, 20 interfaces in each and every router, and this is how we will connect them. Let us see the IP addresses. So these are the IP addresses we'll be assigning to the various interfaces. The PC1 will have the IP address 192.168.1.2 and it is connected to R1, and the interface of R1 is having the IP address 192.168.1.1. so you can see the other addresses. You can note down these addresses. Will be configuring the entire topology using this particular IP address. So what we are going to see is path without PBR. So if we are not configuring the PBR, and if PC1 is the source and PC2 is the destination, then of course the packet will be forwarded from PC1 to R1 and from R1 to R2 and R2 to PC2. This is the best possible path. So this is how the packets will be forwarded without PBR from PC1 to PC2. Now suppose if the source is PC1 and destination is PC3, so the path the packet will traverse without PBR. So without PBR, of course the path is from PC1 to R1, R1 to R3 and R3 to PC3. So this is the best possible path. Now with path, what is the path with PBR? After we configure PBR, so what we will see that the path from R1 to R3 is now discarded. So this is discarded and the packets will be forwarded from PC1 to R1, R1 to R2, R2 to R3 and then to PC3. So this is the alternate route. So there are varieties of reasons due to which we need to have an alternate route. So I will share the PDF of this practical in the description section of the video. You can see the theory part is given. So here we will configure and we'll see the path is not the regular one, the shortest path, but some different path. So this will be doing using the PBR. Now let us do the practical using the software. So now we are into the GNS. We start with the very first step, that is configuring, making the topology. So I have created a file PBR, a project PBR. So click on this component list and first we select the host, the PCs, PC1 here, PC2 and PC3. Then you need to create 3 routers. I have 7200 router. So router 1 I will place here, R1 and R2 and finally R3. Now next we connect them. So we take the wire from here and in R1, okay, before connecting we have to add the interfaces. As we can see, in case of R1 there is only one interface available. We need 3 interfaces. So double click on this and in slots we add 2 slots here. In slot 1 we add PAFETX. Here also we add the same thing. Okay. So we add 2 fast Ethernet interfaces. We have to do it all the routers, so because there is only one slot is available. Now we do the connection. Now we have to connect this according to the topology which we had discussed. So here there are three interfaces. We must know which interface we are connecting where, otherwise we won't get the output. Sometimes we connect somewhere this 00 with PC1 and then configure the IP address of another interface. So we must take care in case of routers. So I am connecting 00 with this PC1, okay, and this interface 10 with 10 of R2, and then R2 I am connecting this with this is 00 with the PC, okay, Ethernet. Now this PC3 is connected with this 00 of this, and we connect this this is 20 of this with 20 of this, and the final is this one 20 with this 10, okay. So after connection, what we do is we select all the components together and turn them on together all together, okay. We start all the devices, so it will become green. So this is the first part. Now we'll go to the second step, that is configuring the IP addresses. Now next step is to assign the IP addresses to each and every interfaces of R1, R2, R3 as well as all the PCs, PC1, PC2, PC3. So first let us start with R1. So here we are in the CLI mode. I just click here. So configure terminal. Then we need to select the interface fast Ethernet, first 00, okay. So I'll just select for first 00. So the IP address is 192.168.1.1, and the gateway is 255.255.255.0, and then no shutdown. So we have configured the IP address of interface 00 of router 1, okay. Now we exit from here. Now we go to the interface fast Ethernet 1/0. So here the IP address is 10.0.0.1, and the default gateway is 255.0.0.0, okay. And here also no shutdown to turn that particular interface up, okay. And then so you can see it just changed to up. Now we exit from here also, and then the last interface fast Ethernet 2/0. The IP address of this particular interface is 20.0.0.1, and default gateway is 255.0.0.0. Then again no shutdown, okay, and then exit. So this we have done for router 1. Similarly, now we'll do for router 2 and router 3. I'll just go fast. So what we have done in router 1, we'll do the same thing in router 2 and 3 also. Now we need to assign the IP addresses to PC1, PC2, PC3. So just double click on this PC1. We have this. So click here and enter. Now IP, then space the IP IP address which we have to assign this 192.168.1.2, then space the default mask is 255.255.255.0, then space, then the default gateway 192.168.1.1, enter. So this IP address is now assigned. Okay, so if you check, and then it will assign this IP address. Now we'll do the same thing for PC2. Double click on PC2, we get this. Sometimes directly we get this. Okay, so here also we assign the IP address is IP, then 192.168. So here the IP address is 2.2. the default gateway is the default subnet mask 255.255.0, the subnet mask, and then the default gateway 192.168.2.1. So this is also assigned, you get this. And then finally PC3, then we go to PC3. So IP address of PC3 is IP space 192.168.3.2, then the subnet mask 255.255.255.0, then space 192.168.3.1. Okay. So we have assigned the IP addresses to all the hosts, the routers, the interface of all the routers. Now we go to the next step, that is we'll check by pinging from each host to the other host if ping works or not. Of course ping will work for some networks and fail for the others, because we need to set the routing path. So let us, before setting the routing path, let us see what happens with the various ping messages. Now let us ping from PC1 to PC2. So I click on PC1 and ping, then the IP address of PC2 192.168.2.2. So as you can see, destination host is not reachable. This is what we get. So the ping fails actually. And now if we ping from this host to now 3.2, so we are pinging from PC1 to PC3. Of course this will also fail. Now this fails because this now when this PC sends a ping message to this PC2, the packet goes from PC1 to R1, but R1 has no knowledge about this particular network. It only has knowledge about this particular network and this particular network. So we need to set the routing path for so that all the routers know about the entire network. So let us click on R1. Okay. So in R1 we set the routing protocol RIP2. So see how we do this. So just click on this. So you must be in this R1 config prompt. Okay. So router RIP, routing information protocol, and we want version 2. Then we add the networks. So network, so this particular R1 is connected to 3 networks, and we want it to share the information with all the other routers which are its neighbors. So the first is 10.0.0.0. so here we are adding the network address. Okay, the next network is 20.0.0.0. then the third network is 192.168.1.0. so we have added this. Okay, then we exit from here. Okay, now we do the same thing in all the other routers. So So we come to R2, and here also router RIP, then version 2, and here also we add the 3 networks. So network, so this particular router is connected with this 10.0.0.0 and then 30.0 and one more network, that is 192.168.2.0. so here we are adding the network address and then exit. Now we come to the router 3 and do the same thing, add the 3 networks. So router RIP, then the version 2, then the network. So this is connected to network 20.30.20.0.0, then network 30.0.0.0 and one more network 192.168 192.168.3.0. So you exit from here also. Okay, we are done with this RIP protocol. Now we click on PC1. Okay, and now we ping the PC2 from here. So as we can see, we are getting the reply. Okay, so we are getting the reply. So ping is successful. Now let us check the PC3. So this is 192.168.3.2. So we are getting the reply. That means ping is successful. So this is what we have done. We have just set the routing path. Now let us go to the next step. Now before setting the PBR, policy based routing, let us check the path from PC1 to PC2. So the command is trace 192.168.2.2. so this trace command, it will show the actual path which the packet traverses from PC1 to PC2. So you can see this is the path. So here what we see is it starts on PC1 and it goes to interface 192.168.1.1. so this is that particular interface. Then it enters this from 10.0.0.2 and finally it reaches the PC2. So this is the path. Okay, this is the path of the packet. Okay, now let us do the same thing, trace command for the PC3. Okay, we just click here. So this shows the path. Okay, I'll just bring this here. Okay, you can do this here. So as the packet starts from PC1, it enters to this path 192.168.1.1. then it reaches this particular R3 through the 20.0.0.2 and it reaches PC3. so it starts on PC1 and goes through this particular path. Now this is the path. Okay, we get this entire path from here. Now what we do, we'll set up the policy based routing in R1 and then we'll see what the path would be and the last step. So in this step we will set up the PBR, policy based routing. So click on R1, double click, and here we create access list 10, permit 192.168.1.2 and create a route map. I will name this route map as smile and permit 10, the one which we have created, the access route, access map. Now next is match IP address 10 and then set this is the important thing, set IP next hop. So we want to just set up this next hop as 10.0.0.2 so that it won't go to 20.0.0.2, and then we exit. Now we need to apply this to the interface of the router. So we select the interface fast Ethernet 00. We need to apply this at this particular interface. So IP policy route map. So we have created a smile and then exit. So this is what we have set up the PBR. Now the next step is to verify. Okay, so just click on PC1. Okay, this is PC1. Now let us first trace the path from PC1 to PC2. Of course this will be the same as the previous case. Okay, so this is what we are expecting, and that is what we got. As you can see here, what we got was this one. Only difference is that now when we do this trace from PC1 to PC3, okay, so trace 192.168.3.2, we'll get some different thing. Okay, so this is what we got in the previous case before PBR. I'll just show this without this. Before PBR, this was the path. Okay, but now as you can see in the after setting the PBR, this path is different. Okay, so the packet starts from 192. So it starts from here, it goes to this interface 10.0.0.2. so it is passed from R1 to R2, and from R2 it goes to this path R3. As you can see, this is the interface. So here 20 is not, so this path is not there. Okay, so because of PBR, the policy based routing, the packet from PC1 to PC3, it goes to this particular path, from this to this, and from here to here, and then finally to PC3. So this is how we perform this PBR using GNS. So that's all for this session. Thanks for watching.